Well, folks, the National Weather Service is at it again here in Northwest Indiana and anywhere in the Midwest. They're telling us that tomorrow is supposed to be one of the biggest snowstorms we're going to have in a while. Do I believe it? Not really, considering how reliable they've been in the past. But with that being said, I want to go ahead and talk to you guys a little bit about my input on having a snow shovel versus a snowblower. Both of them are effective, but which one should you have if you had to choose one? So, wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about this today because it's a big dilemma that goes on in my head whenever I'm approaching a snowstorm, because we've had almost anything here in Northwest Indiana, from light dustings to heavy snowstorms, and as of recently, I would say we're often told we're going to have a big dusting like we're supposed to have tomorrow. I don't know, we're going to have to see, but if we are, this is just something to think about, right? This isn't a video telling you, hey, go to the store and buy this, go to the store and buy that. This is really more so a video laying out my thoughts to you guys onto what I think about when I'm going to go out there and clear snow off of the driveway. So, with that being said, what are some things I'm going to think about? Well, let's talk about the two decisions. So, the first one I want to talk about is the snowblower, the powerhouse option. This one everybody's going to want to resort to because it's fun, it's mechanical, it's going to clear a lot of snow in a little amount of time, and it's going to take the least amount of energy. I can tell you that right now. Snowblowers are often the favorite in this situation because they are the powerhouse. However, there is something you have to think about here, and that is cost effectiveness. Snowblowers are not cost effective. They're going to be expensive, and they're going to require a lot of maintenance and storage. You can't just throw them anywhere like you can a snow shovel. That's going to be another conversation here in a minute. But that's just something you got to think about: cost effectiveness, maintenance, and storage. One of the biggest problems I've ran into with my snowblowers in the past is shear bolts. Shear bolts, in case you don't know, they're bolts that are put on the augers. If you're using a dual stage, they'll pop off if there's too much tension on the auger, and that prevents damage to the gearbox and all sorts of other things, right? So these things happen, and because of that, you have to deal with breakdowns, you got to deal with the extra maintenance, and sometimes you even have to go to your dealer and make sure you have extras on hand. So yeah, it ties into the maintenance aspect. Now, with that being said, on this channel, there are a variety of different snowblowers I've actually reviewed in the past. We've reviewed single stages, dual stages, hybrids between the two. There's so many out there for different situations. If you're doing light to moderate dustings, you can get away with a single stage or even a hybrid. If you're doing heavy snow, you want to have a dual stage. A single stage is when you have a smaller snowblower that is activated by your feet, and it's one auger moving like this that tosses the snow up into the chute. A dual stage is going to have the same thing, except it's not only going to have this movement, but it's going to have a flywheel behind it that helps force the snow up out of the chute so it can shoot the other way. So that is the anatomy of the single versus the dual. Now, for me, one that I reviewed in the past, and it's kind of a hybrid between the two, is the Toro Snowmaster QXE. I believe this one is still available. I'm not entirely sure, but I did review this one in the past, and I like it. Now, is it a dual stage? No, in the sense that it doesn't have the flywheel in the back that spins like this. It just has the scissor reel like you would find on a reel mower. But it does have the personal pace on there, and it does have the beefiness of a dual stage. So when I consider it an intermediate or a hybrid between the two, that is what I am talking about, not the actual mechanics itself. Now let's talk about shovels. This is the most cost-effective option out there, the classic choice. One of the reasons I like shovels is because they are cheap, they are easy, and you can store them anywhere. As a matter of fact, I have a shovel that's been on my back porch for as long as I can remember this entire winter, just to clear a path for some cats that we have that come and like to eat. We have a little area for them, you know, because we like the animals. But anyway, we could keep shovels anywhere, and the best part about them, if they break, you can always buy more. That's any snow guy's favorite dream, right? If a shovel breaks, they're cheap. Go to the store, buy another one. You could buy them in fleet deals if you're running sidewalk crews and all that. Whereas snowblowers, you could do the same thing, except they're going to be a little more expensive, and they do break down, which can have you down for a little bit. And again, that maintenance cost and that overhead. But it is necessary when the snow is heavier. But anyway, with that being said, snow shovels, you can keep them anywhere. especially if we're talking about a basic shovel here. Now, one that I've reviewed in the past that I really, really like for light dustings, because this is really what I'm going to use a snow shovel for, if I'm being honest with you, or if we have a little bit of heavy snow, I might, but if it gets to a certain point, past 5 or 7 inches, I'm using a snowblower. But if I have like a 2 or 3 inch dusting on a driveway, I'm going to resort to using what is called a snowcaster shovel. Now, this shovel is one of my favorites. I've had it for a while. This is not an endorsement for them, although I have done videos for them in the past. Super great shovel. It's got wheels on it, and what's cool about it is it works like a miniature plow, right? You push the snow forward and to the side, back and forth down the driveway, and you're done within 5 minutes. I've done runs with this back when I was doing snow removal, and I was able to get 19 driveways done in 6.5 hours, which was an amazing turnaround with just this snowcaster. And if I lived in an area where we got moderate to light dustings all the time, I would honestly say I'm selling all my snowblowers for it. Again, not an endorsement, just really like it. If there's anything better out there, comment below because maybe I'll review it. So with that being said, what's the right tool we're going to choose for the job? Well, like I said, whether you're a DIYer, whether you're a pro out there running routes, it all comes down to a couple of factors, right? Property size, budget, snow frequency, and physical capability, right? All of that stuff. Budget, snow shovel's going to take the win there. They're super cheap. They break. You can run to the store, replace them, and they have fleet deals for them if you're running sidewalk crews as a business. Property size. If you have a bigger property size, you're definitely going to want a snowblower. A snowblower is going to cover more ground in less time, and it's going to be less strenuous for the operator. More money, but it's going to make short work of the job. So it really boils down to, do you want to spend more time or do you want to spend more money? You really got to view it in how you want to operate as a DIYer who does their driveway or a business. What makes more sense? Physical ability and snow frequency, a snowblower is going to take the gold because a snowblower can be used for anything. Again, it's more expensive, but it can be used for anything. It's going to have to be maintained. It's more expensive. It can be used for anything, though. So in that sense, it would be perfect because if you're older, maybe you can't move like you did 20 years ago, snowblower is going to take the gold because you're not going to have to break your back moving shovelfuls of snow, which I wouldn't recommend using it for that anyway. If you're looking for something that's going to be budget friendly and get you through light dustings, a snow shovel of any kind, whether it's a classic shovel or the snowcaster, is going to get you through. If you're dealing with larger property size and more snow and physical capability challenges, then I would say a snowblower. Consider the fact that with either of them, they're going to have their pros and cons, of course. With shovels, they're not going to be able to tackle the big stuff unless you have the manpower for it. Snowblowers, they can tackle anything. However, they come at a larger cost, not only from acquisition, but once you get them, you're going to have to maintain them, and that can get pretty expensive real quick. So at the end of the day, those are some factors to think about. With that being said, I would encourage you guys to leave your comments in the description below. What do you like better? What are you using? What snow tools are you using to tackle the big stuff, the light stuff, anything? Leave a comment below. Let's start a discussion. And with that being said, if you click this button right here, you're going to see more videos on this channel where we primarily teach you how to have the deepest, darkest, greenest, thickest lawn on the block. And if you click these two videos here, these videos are going to show you in the past how we've done so.